Alrighty, got this McCormick Deering sickle bar sharpener put back together. I missed some spots on the paint where it was dirty, I guess, and dingy right around here in the back side of the bar. Put a little bit of oil on it to get it to turn easier, and it does, but it's got a few spots it gets a little hard. I mainly just oiled the shafts. I talked to a buddy of mine, he's a John Deere nut, and he told me that just because they made IH stuff don't mean they never made nothing for any other company or painted them for other companies. So he said this is a tool that they used on sickle bars. Didn't matter the make, model, or nothing. He said they probably even painted some Ford blue for the Ford sickle bars. But he said, yeah, they've seen John Deere sickle bar sharpeners. McCormick's one painted green for John Deere. So they might have made a bunch and sold in the store. I don't know. I've not seen a John Deere sickle bar sharpener, but he said they could have painted them any different colors for each machine and sold them at trade shows and stuff and had them. But this shaft here is loose in here. Causes this gear to wobble back and forth a good bit. I broke my other gear. Luckily, when I bought this, it come on the shaft with this gear. That gear's wore out. The other gear I got's not. I broke a tooth or two off. I'll have to weld it back and clean it up. But for looks and display, you know, ain't no big deal. But if I was going to use it all the time, I'd have to take this shaft out and tighten it up, re-weld it and pin it. But I'm going to stick it under this sickle bar here and set it on this table. I got to move my Indian rock. My grandmother had this rock. It's where Indians took and either started fire on it. It's old sand rock. This side here, we had a couple of them up there in the country where she was born and raised that they used under fence post. I used to think fence post waddled it out and all, but no, it's Indian rock. So small ones, big ones, it didn't matter. They used what they had. She had this at her house. We finally cleaned out some stuff. But anyhow, I'm going to stick this under this, and I figured I'd make a little short video of it. And I'm missing my spring, and I'll have to get a spring for it. But this is supposed to hold it tight against the sharpener. And I'm going to have to move this away to line it up. Loosen this and get it. There we go. Slide it down a little bit more. Get it just in line. This bar's got to go on my sharpener in the back and my sickle bar. But for looks and all right now, that's going to hit that rivet. But it's lined up with this other one, so I guess it don't matter. It's just for looks. Anyhow, that don't look bad. Got the green one right there and got the red one right there. I need to pull this red one back. Sorry about the sun shining a little bit out there on the front porch. Through the screen messes the picture up, but this is the bar. I was saying that one's missing. Looks like about a 3/8 thread, so I got some rod I'll take and make one. But the spring right here is the only thing I'm missing off this green one over here. I bought the cam and the rock off the internet from a lady or a man, I don't know which one it was, but this shaft on this one's tight. It moves on the shaft, but the shaft don't wobble. This one I didn't take apart. We just sandblasted it and painted it in the cabinet at the shop. And this one didn't have no paint on the handle, but the handle's busted and bad. But this one had green paint all over the handle. It'd been kept inside. It had a lot of oil on the gears and stuff, so we chem dipped it and not sandblasted it. Sandblast won't get tar and rubber off really good, but it works. Like I said, I don't think that's too bad. That's Table's got a few $100s sitting on it now. Hope nobody come up here and think and know what they are and just steal them. But not too many people know where I'm at, and got security cameras and good retired neighbors that are home all the time. And I'm home all the time right now anyway. Well, it seems like my temperature gauge here saying it's below 50 because all my things are floating. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but the lowest one's 50. When it starts sinking, it's I don't know why this one's only got 50 on it, but the 100, when it gets up hot, all of them will drop except for the highest one. So it's below 50 for that one to be floating. But I figured I'd take a little video and show you my McCormick Deering Green sickle bar sharpener. That was probably painted and sold to John Deere dealers, sold to John Deere tractor people. But anyhow, pleased to have them, glad to have it put together, and you know, I needed one and bought one. It was broke and wasn't working, and I bought another one and it had everything on it I thought except for one little piece, and then luckily I found another piece on there and worked out a deal with them because they had a couple of gears and an arm and all. They were missing a bunch of parts and they wanted too much for what they had in parts. I think they wanted $24 and $20 shipping or something. I said I didn't give much more than 50 for the one I got. Of course, I see they up, you know, $60 and $100 now, but people wishful thinking too. You can get them at a flea market usually, or a craft show. Sometimes you can see them and they're about 60, 70 bucks. So they still under 100, but they look nice. A can of John Deere Green cost, you know, $5, and this can of red from Lowe's cost about $4. So, but they look pretty. I know some people don't like restoring old stuff, but some stuff looks good old and some stuff looks good restored. So